Hello. This is going to be a quick video talking about pair programming. One thing, a lot of students, for some reason, when they write down or they talk about this later in the term, they term it peer, P-E-E-R. It's not peer programming, it is pair programming. The idea is two people working together to code a single piece of code, to write a single piece of code. And what works really well is the following setup. And the Scrum book talks about this in the later chapter, is to take on two roles. So one person takes on the role of a driver, and the other person takes on the role of the navigator. The driver's the person with the keyboard, and they're sitting there typing. Now, you're all working remotely, or maybe in future years when I teach this, I want to talk about being able to do it remotely. You can absolutely pair program remotely. Just simply start up whatever your video conferencing is and have the driver share the driver's screen so that both of you can see what is happening. And then great, you've got the audio channel and you can talk and say things as well. And so this person is focused on, I'm writing this right now. And so you can envision like they're writing the for loop or something like that, or they're in the midst of defining a method and def method stuff. Anyway, the navigator is the one watching. And the navigator really has the role of thinking strategically, looking further ahead. So the notion is the driver right now, driver's not having any problems. So the navigator is thinking about where are we going to go next with this, because they are working together. So they're also there looking over the shoulder, so to speak, to catch errors. Oh, no, I think you meant less than or equal, not just less than. Or, oh no, that's probably going to be an off by one. We need to do this or we need to do that. Don't we need to also, or I think you've put together the Boolean. Let's try the Boolean. What about this? It's sort of it's not an artificially intelligent, but it's a real intelligent reader of the code to go, I think we have an issue, or let's talk about this, or so forth and so on. And this important thing is to keep in mind that the navigator does not sit there and just dictate code. So we're never going to have it set up where we've got someone who's looking over the shoulder saying, now type this, now do this, now do this. It's not really that way. It's a conversation between the two, and then the driver does things. But it's going to work best if you switch very frequently, about every 10 minutes or so, or maybe after a method or a difficult piece of code, switch. And the other person takes control and does work. Now, there's a couple of things that we run into that's really important for that. So when we've tried, so students find working as pairs to be really good. So it's a successful technique. That being said, we do see at times some problems with it. And so here are some additional points to keep in mind as students that doesn't seem to, I've never really read about this in the write-ups of it. So maybe when it comes to sort of the professional, sort of equal knowledge and ability programmers, it's not so much a concern. But we tend to see this happening with students. So there's some things to keep in mind. So one of the things is just the general statement that pair programming is not about sitting there and watching someone else work. So this sounds mean and harsh, but this is what we see students report often at the end of the term. They say, well, so we'll get one student who says, oh yeah, I pair programmed that with this other person, and that person will say, There was no pair programming. I did it all. The other person just sat there and watched me work. And so don't fall into that trap, okay, where you think, this is great. I really don't know how to do this stuff. I'm going to pair program with someone. And now you might go into that with good intentions, but before you know it, the other person is just writing all the code. That's not going to work. That's not what it's going to do. If you find yourself falling into that trap, keep this in mind. So first thing to avoid this phenomena is, one, if the navigator does not understand what the driver is doing, or writing, or whatever you want to term it, the navigator must ask for an explanation. Now, maybe this is obvious to the professional developers that, of course, oh yeah, I don't understand what you're doing. Because they have a high enough ego, a large enough ego to be like, well, if I don't understand it, maybe it's crappy code. Maybe it's not written well. Maybe it's garbage. What is that? Because they think of themselves as good. But if you're lacking that self-confidence, that ego, you might just, I don't understand it, but I'll just let it be. I won't say anything. I don't want to look dumb. So that's not what you need to do. You need to be flat out honest and be like, I'm sorry. I actually don't know how these fancy things in Ruby work, or I don't understand that regular expression you just wrote. Could you help me learn and explain like how this code works? And that's really important. And the moment you ask for help to have it be explained, and just say, like, I don't understand, could you please explain it? You don't have to say it looks wrong to you, like you don't understand it. Explain it, teach to me how this code works. The driver should then, okay, yes, I'm gonna explain it to you. And you guys might need to pull up a shared whiteboard, something like that, something where you can actually work through it, or pull up another document to be able to type other things in, experiment, explain code, step through it with a debugger even, okay? Go put that buy bug in there, run the system, buy bug will stop and show, look, I'm stepping through, and show the evaluation of it. This is how it works. You'll both be confident it works right, and the navigator can learn from it, okay? So if you don't get it, speak up, because that's your job as the navigator. You're supposed to be looking for errors. If you don't understand the code, there's no way you're going to detect an error in the code. So speak up, learn from it. Because often people are doing pair programming because we're going to put an experienced person with an inexperienced person. Great. But that inexperienced person has to speak up to learn, and the experienced person has to be willing to teach and explain things. And so that's the bargain you're in if you're going to do pair programming. The other thing then, so that's if you're the navigator. All right, well, we've got some situations where the driver gets stuck. So if the driver is stuck, in other words, you are there, you're the driver, you're in front of that keyboard, and you're like, I don't know what to do. I really don't understand what to write next. I'm stuck. It's pretty obvious, and that's why we also say to switch frequently. So put yourself in front of that keyboard after 10 minutes, and we'll see whether you actually know what's going on or not. If you don't, you're going to get stuck. And now it's time for a teaching moment, okay? So this is when the team then has to go into, again, so this is about teaching. I don't understand, teach it to me. But you also, in this scenario, you definitely need to go into tutorial mode. So it's not about it's not about the navigator telling the driver, type this. Because that's not going to teach the driver how to do anything. So you need to go into what I call tutorial mode. And this is, when I say tutorial mode, it's very similar to the way when back in the day when we'd have in-person office hours. So a student comes in and needs some help, and oh, okay, so we do tutorial sort of mode is what I call it, and it's really there's 3 steps to being in tutorial mode. So the first step of tutorial mode is understanding what's the missing knowledge. So first one is that the tutor's job is to uncover missing knowledge or skill. All right, so there's something in all of this programming that we do is cumulative learning. So somewhere back in the learning that happened, something was missed. And then a whole bunch of stuff doesn't really make sense because that one piece of knowledge was missed. And so it takes so again, the driver's stuck and the navigator is here helping. And so the navigator is going to work with the driver to figure out where is this piece of knowledge missing? Was it that you never learned about how to define hashes in Ruby? Was it that you never really understood what a controller and the redirects or the views, or, I mean, there's so much in Rails. Trust me, there's plenty of stuff that you could be missing or forgetting. Or, yeah, you actually never quite got this whole foreign key thing in databases or whatever. Got to figure out what it is that's causing the sticking point, okay? Then the next thing you go to is, well, I'm going to teach that. All right, teach the missing knowledge or skill, okay? So, all right, I'm going to explain to you how this works. I'm going to explain to you about how we do entity relationship diagrams. Let me talk you through it. All right, here we go. Great. Now the thing is, you can do that, but you don't know whether you've been successful or not until you do the final step of tutorial mode, which is to test. All right, and this is where you ask the person. So you put together usually, so you've gone, in teaching, you might have shown examples and worked through stuff. When you go to the test portion, now's when you go and you say, all right, I'm gonna here, let me give you a small little problem. And maybe you write out some code and say, what does this code do? Or if we had this, what would be the right way to draw this, etc. Whatever it is. And then the other person who's learning the material has to try it. It's a little test. Did I really get it? And if they are able to solve the problem, great. You've done it. You've taught it. They've learned it. Now you can go back to, all right, so let's try to actually write this code again or do whatever it was that we were working on together in our pair programming. Now do you see what we need to do? Hopefully they do. If not, there's still something missing. There's still something to work on. Keep at it. You're not done until the person can actually do it. Because if you just end up being like, oh, give me the keyboard, I'm going to write it myself, you've stopped the learning. The person's not going to learn by seeing you do it. If that was the case, I could watch Michael Jordan play basketball and be really good at basketball. It doesn't work that way. I need to practice making the baskets myself. This is with all these skills. It's not about watching, but it's about doing and practicing. And we need someone to guide us so that we can figure out how to put together the motions, the movement, the knowledge, and then we have to gain practice doing it. Okay, so don't just do it for people. If that's the way it's going to be, don't pair program. Okay, maybe it would be better to have separate teaching and tutorial sessions. something. But if you're not going to effectively pair program, don't waste your time doing it, because you're both just going to be frustrated at the end of the day. But again, responsibilities to both parties. So if you don't understand, you got to speak up and ask for help, and understand what's actually the other person is doing. If you're stuck, then the other person really also needs to step into the role of truly teaching in this tutorial mode. It's not enough just to say what the answer is. That's the wrong way to approach it, because learning doesn't happen by telling people answers. Learning only happens by people actually attempting problems and being able to successfully do them themselves. Okay.